All right. Woo!
Because I'm recording this already, so I got you drinking your water and everything.
That's awesome.
So,
all right, y'all ready for this? That's the Orlando Magic. That was the Orlando Magic theme song for.
Let's start this podcast at 8. We just spent 2.5 hours feeding ourselves because our girlfriends were not home to cook for us. Yeah, we're dying right now because we've been procrastinating trying to figure out stuff. So
because we'd rather go make milkshakes right now because that sounds so good, bro.
It does actually.
Sometimes when we're waiting for uncertain news, we know the news is going to be bad. It's just a matter of how bad it'll be.
Bad news, everyone. Well, BadNews Tech.
Welcome to the month anniversary of the BadNews Tech Podcast. Yes, that is episode 4. That's 4 straight weeks of us talking about tech. My goodness, guys. That's an awesome horn. My goodness, guys. It's me, Pedro. Go Broncos. Super Bowl's this weekend. We will upset the Carolina Panthers. Oh, yo, the horn, bro.
Oh, my fault, B.
The horn, yo, this is ridiculous. All right, to complete the intros, I'm Pedro. This is Christian. He doesn't watch football. Isaac is going for the Panthers, which is why he won't blow the air horn when I say the Broncos are going to win. But anyway, let's get into it. This week, guys, we saw an amazing display of profitability coming from both Google and Apple. One day, at the beginning of the week, everyone went wild because Google was the most profitable company in the world.
Alphabet
was the most profitable company in the world. And a day later, Apple was like, nah, bro. We'll continue to be the most profitable company in the world. So after all of the sword fighting and the pissing contest that happened in the beginning of the week, I have a question to ask you guys. Profitability means, yes, you guys make money off the products or the advertisements. But are they the most powerful company in tech? Or is either one of them the most powerful company?
like Apple versus Google?
Those are the two biggest right now, or most profitable. Is there anybody else?
Not that I would think.
Not that are prominent players in the market.
I would say that Google is the bigger company of the two, and only because they're doing more. They're doing more with with different types of technology. Like they're going. Obviously you got Apple with their cell phones and Google with their Nexus line, and they both have tablets. Google does their little Chromebooks, even though those don't even compare to the performance of a Mac. But they're doing more innovative stuff. They obviously have Google.com. They have all their other things that are rolled into your email account, like Gmail. You got Drive. You got what else is connected? A bunch of stuff.
Let me put this into perspective for everybody who's listening and the two of you. Google makes 90%. The 90% of the money that Google makes comes off of ad revenues, right? Apple's big hitter is hardware. It's the iPhone.
Yeah.
In your opinion, what's more powerful? The advertisement that Google provides, or the hardware that's in the hand that Apple puts in the hands of users?
I think it's the ads, because they're selling ad space. They're essentially selling a billboard to everybody that has something on the internet, like a website, to one of the websites that get hit the most, which is their search engine. So, to me, that's a lot bigger than just selling hardware, because, you have Bing, but who uses that crap? And then you have Google, which everybody uses. It's set as default, when you have Chrome. It's, I think, set as default for Firefox. It's obviously set as the default search provider on Android phones, and is now the default search provider or search engine for Apple devices. So, everywhere you go, you're gonna hit Google.com. So
Well, first off, to answer your question on the Bing thing, a little more than 1 in 5 people use Bing, since it accounts for 20% of the search thing. So we'll start with that. I'm not a Bing user, but we got to give a little.
We'll give credit when credit's
Little-
due.
a few times I've used Bing search and it wasn't willingly. It was because I had to use Internet Explorer, and sometimes it would make me go to Bing and do searches that way. I've never gotten the results that I was looking for like I do with Google.com.
Well, I'm not saying it's better,
Yeah,
by
so-
any means. I'm just saying, apparently 1 in 5 people do. If we're going to
You know what the 1 in 5 people are? The people who are forced to use Internet Explorer in their at their jobs. That's probably what it is. Because by default, Bing is the default search engine for Internet Explorer. So unless you manually set it to Google,
Windows 10 also.
that too, Bing with Windows 10, Bing is the second you type something in the search bar, it not only searches your computer, but it can send you to websites which usually are fed through Bing. So, yeah.
That's pretty big.
I mean, I think you should be able to change that.
I would say hardware. And here's a couple reasons. The big thing in ads and having ads is having data to target the people with ads. I say if you have, you could, Apple has so much data on so many millions of people across so many millions of products that I think that's a more powerful thing than ads. Why? Because I could put up an ad blocker and all of a sudden ads are not a thing. And they'll make no money off that.
Yeah.
Whereas a phone, how would you be able to do something like that? Other than get another phone, but obviously that's not what's happening.
No.
You can ad block on a phone now.
No, exactly. But I'm saying you're still making profits off the phone.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If enough people start using ad blockers, revenues for ads will go down.
But I mean, there was this thing with Google paying ad block to push to allow only Google ads. There was a couple of years ago it happened with AdBlock.
Well, they have
Plus.
sponsored things and stuff like that, but and you have Google themselves paying Apple $1 billion just to keep a little search bar at the top.
Yeah. I mean, but that $1 billion is going to return more than that.
What I'm saying is, if Apple could get this information on these users, they could eventually do the same thing themselves and sell whatever space on an iPhone or whatever they want to do.
Oh my god, that would be so bad, though. I mean, ads all over your phone?
Not in your phone, but maybe iTunes, maybe...
But I thought iTunes does that already. They have ads for, like, the songs and stuff.
They do.
But you mean, like, targeted ads?
Targeted things,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Okay, yeah, I know.
So they have all that information also. They're just not in the same thing because they're making... I mean, why should they? They make a ridiculous amount of money off their hardware. It's such high profit. I think that's why. It's hard for Google to jump in that realm and for hardware and be so profitable, but I think Apple could also use not only their hardware, but the information to have on all their users and everybody that uses their devices. They could take advantage of that if they ever feel like they need to.
So you don't think that having arguably, depending on the month, the number 1 or number 2 best mobile operating system out and allowing other manufacturers to have the freedom to install that onto their smartphones, you control that operating system. You can basically control the message with your ads, because I mean Google has already removed, as of this week, an ad blocking software that was in the Google Play Store that Samsung actually put there. So they removed Samsung ad blocking software from the Google Play Store, letting them know, look, don't mess with my profitability.
But they still have ad block, like the actual ad block that you can use on your browsers. They have that there.
Well, they don't have that on the phones anymore, though.
Yeah, but if it's so easy to block an ad, how are they making so much money? I don't, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't. I don't think it's that simple to dismiss the power of Google's advertising machine.
Oh, I'm not dismissing it. It's incredibly powerful and incredibly, it's a very powerful tool in the industry. But if I had to choose, I would probably go with
with hardware.
Yeah.
Okay. With putting a product
I'm not
in people's
bringing
hands.
it down by any means because
Okay.
they make way more money than others. So
I mean, they do have ad block stuff on, like, from the ad block company, but it's a browser. Before, you used to be able to download an app that blocked ads
Yeah.
across your whole phone.
Universally.
they still have
Yeah.
it, but it's not.
It's like you have to do it as
about 2 years
an
ago,
unauthorized app
Google
install.
said it was against the guidelines of their Play Store, and then they removed them.
That's like what they did with Amazon. Amazon's app got taken off the Play Store because they were selling the same apps that Google Play was selling, but for cheaper or for free.
Gotcha.
So they had to remove the whole entire, because it was rolled into the app that Amazon had for also purchasing like normal products.
Yeah.
So you have to like side load it, and it's I don't know.
So is there any company that may have an opportunity to possibly overtake either one of these two in the near future?
I don't think so. I think Google will be around for a long time, and so will Apple.
And when I mean overtake, I mean in profitability or power.
You're not talking like a brand new company just coming to the top. You're talking about.
I'm talking about the usual suspects, the players now out there.
Like Microsoft.
I think
or something.
I think it's going to be a good decade before we see anybody make a dent in anything.
Yeah.
They just have so much money. I mean, they're making more money than freaking oil companies, and that's
Yeah.
unheard of.
I mean, they're more profitable than ExxonMobil right now, and that's wild. That's crazy because ExxonMobil had a stranglehold on that for a long,
Well, now the
long,
oil
long
is
time.
down and all of that, but once it shoots back up.
So you don't see a potential Elon Musk company, Microsoft making a comeback, and maybe Windows 10, fueling that. Nothing, a potential Sony.
The only chance
nothing.
anything has is if there's some type of extreme jump in technology.
Okay.
Where there's a gold rush to this new technology.
VR.
I don't know.
I don't even think Oculus.
I'm saying like from the
would
dumb
do
phone to
anything.
the smartphone.
Yeah.
That jump and that gold rush to get that tech up and how fast that tech went up. It was in a span of like 10 years or 12 years. You had your first smartphone.
Yeah.
To what we have now, and people like BlackBerry didn't keep up with the times and got left behind. Nokia is another one that was in there. Microsoft with their Windows Phone 6.5, they didn't feel like it was a threat, and they're really wrong.
Yeah.
So unless something new comes out that completely changes what we see as technology nowadays and how we use technology, I don't think until then neither of those companies are going anywhere.
You mentioned Oculus. Parent company for Oculus is Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think Facebook has an opportunity with their own ad structure that they have on their website? Over 1 billion users on Facebook's site. Very, very profitable company. Very, very. They're arguably right there. They own a market. They corner that market, that social media market.
I don't think so, because it's not used as like a search engine. Like I don't know. I mean, it does have a lot of traffic, but I don't think it would touch anywhere near as much as Google's search engine traffic does. So,
I mean, have you tried searching on Facebook like a search engine? It gives you some good hits. I mean, it does put you in. It does give you some really interesting sites to go with or sources to choose from. I mean, it is a very good content aggregator.
I mean, I don't know. I just don't think that a lot of people think that that's there. That's why. So, I mean, because if it wasn't for making Bad News Tech with you guys, I didn't know half of the stuff that I know that Facebook can do now. Like, I didn't know any of that stuff was possible. So, like, I knew there was some like ad boosting and stuff like that, but not anywhere near on the level that we're exposed to now with us being what we are. So,
Facebook ads work.
yeah, definitely. I mean, there's people that are signed into it all day, versus Google, but I just don't think people are going and using that and saying, I'm going to go Google, like Facebook this and see if I can find an answer to my question, whereas Google is better at that.
Google's a verb now. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Apple's not a verb. I'm not going to go Apple this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Apple's its own. It's an icon. You know what I mean? It's a status symbol.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Or it used to be a status symbol. It may not be one now. But before, it definitely was.
Speaking of, Apple and Google stuff, there has been some reports of those type of devices that use USB-C, like the Nexus. My transitions are usually beautiful, but the USB-C's USB cables are something that are becoming more of the standard now. Yeah. So what's happening is that there's a lot of people that are ordering USB-C cables, I guess from, that are made by companies, cheaply made cables from other countries and stuff that are messing up people's electronics. So damaging the actual electronic to the point where it's not usable. So when you buy a USB-C cable, make sure that
it's reputable.
Cheap isn't always the best way to go in this case.
Now,
so
do you know why?
Why? Yeah.
Okay.
Explain me why, because I'm ignorant to that situation.
So USB 1 and USB 2 was able to max draw 1 amp or 0.08 amps of power. Okay. USB-C came out and we're pulling 3 amps now. Okay. So it's a lot more current coming through that cable. Yeah. What's happening is these people, either the manufacturers, either out of ignorance or just trying to cut costs, are not putting the correct resistors in the cable, skipping them all together to the point where it's drawing way too much current and just frying the devices. So that's the reason now why before it wasn't such a big deal, because you really couldn't fry devices on such low amperage, but now that we're getting these high, this high current coming through, it's a dangerous thing now.
Yeah, amperage is something that, then this is something I learned from my past job working with the system admin. Amperage is something that you don't want to mess with. The volts can be off, but the amperage is the most important, because you know how you can buy a device and you have that little brick with the plugs. Yeah. With the plug, you plug it into the wall. You know how on the back there's a sticker that says 120 volts, whatever amps. If for some reason that doesn't match up, you can literally start a fire with that device if it's wrong, if it's that far off. So amperage is something that can really demolish a device or cause harm to anything around it. So if the cable was not made properly.
I've got a question regarding that. I mean, this just seems like a really bad idea to continue releasing phones or products that are USB-C compatible, at least until they get these kinks out of the way. I mean, do I want to have to worry that if I purchase a USB cable for $1.50 at Amazon, that it's going to either start a fire or fry my electronic device over a $1.50 cable?
There's not imitation, but just cheaply made lightning cables for iPhones. That have blown up iPhones. Literally just catch them on fire.
I mean, the Amazon Basics ones are usually pretty good. If that would be the lowest I would go, and those are usually like $5. So
they're cheap. But they're certified.
Yeah,
Amazon made.
They're actually checked and they're not.
Does Amazon Basics have a USB-C?
I don't know. I haven't checked. They usually have everything else.
Last time I checked, they didn't, because I've been trying to get another cable for
the Nexus.
I mean, if it really came down to it, if Amazon Basics was not around, I would buy the original cable from the manufacturer. I wouldn't care how much it costs, because I know for a fact that cable was checked from the manufacturer. There is a very unlikely chance that something's going to happen to it.
That is a no, by the way. They do not sell it still.
Now, Google, was it a Google dev? I think, yeah. A Google dev took the time to actually create a list of safe USBC cables to purchase. So,
I mean, it's the thing is with cables like that. I mean, with anything you buy, you want to do your research. You know, you want to look at the reviews. You want to take into consideration your other options. You know, and I could say probably the only other piece of tech that's really had this problem like this too is batteries. You buy a phone that has a detachable battery, or you buy a camera, or you buy anything that has any batteries that can be replaced, that are usually rechargeable, and you buy these batteries from, you know, these companies that you've never heard of before, that are probably made in like China or something.
They're all
like
Chinese
that.
made,
Yeah, so it's and some of them come out to be really good and almost like the original battery made by the manufacturer, and then you have some that are just complete trash that like literally blow up.
Expand
because
and blow up,
like because, you know, they didn't seal it properly and they didn't follow regulations and stuff like that. So
that's the same thing. It's the same thing that we're seeing with the hoverboards.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah,
Same exact issue. They're making these cheap hoverboards, not putting all the proper things that you need in the electronics to stop things from charging or stop things from overheating.
Yeah.
And they're catching fire and blowing up. It happens with everything.
I mean, I think hoverboards are a bad idea in the first place anyway, but I mean, just leave it at the Razor scooters and that's it. We're fine. Why do you have to make Why do you have to make something on two wheels? It's like that you have to charge. It's electronic.
It's a Segway.
But I mean, it's not though, because they're blowing up.
Well, the cheap ones.
Yeah, I mean, now, I mean, I think those type of devices have had such a bad rap that even though there has been a couple of companies that have came out and said, you know, we've made the hoverboard that doesn't blow up. Like, why? That should never be an advertisement, like, tactic. You know,
well, I mean, I'm looking at something right now that's the same, you know, that's the same type of advertisement for a cable. Like, we're speaking about a cable here, guys, and that's the thing that scares me is you spend this amount of money and you don't have this issue with other USB cables. So why, until we can get it fixed or corrected to where, you know, maybe the market for USB-C cables is you know, a lot bigger, a lot broader, that you can find an actual remedy for the situation, I'm not going to purchase. Would you recommend someone purchasing it?
Let me ask you a question. Someone has a laptop. They spend $1,000 on a laptop. They buy a $5 AC adapter for the laptop, and it burns out the laptop. Are you going to stop buying laptop AC adapters?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, absolutely, especially when it's $5.
Oh, well, I mean, just cheap ones.
I'm just saying. Are you going to blame the technology, or are you going to blame the actual piece of hardware that they purchased to try to charge and now it blows it up?
Well, I mean, if that's the same one, if I'm looking at this same one here that's, you know, 3 or 4 years old that you know works, then obviously you're going to blame this. But there is a wider market for this than there is for a USB-C cable.
Okay, but I'm saying you lose that one, and if you go to Amazon, you buy a $10 charger, and it fries your computer. Yeah, I'm not feeling sorry for you. I'm sorry. Same thing with anything. These things.
Usually, if it's too cheap, it's too good to be true.
And you're not going to get these generic Chinese manufactured things.
But the regular consumer isn't going to know that. The regular consumer only sees dollars and cents. And when you look at something and you say, okay, cool, this is a USB-C cable that's cost me $20, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, $20. I'm going to go buy the one that's $10 and call it a day. It says USB-C on it, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? This is somewhat similar. the same could be applied to phone cases. I found a really awesome $10 phone case. It's really slim, and I don't have to worry about it, being surrounding the phone and hiding the beautifulness of the phone. And then they go drop it, and the thing just smashes into smithereens. Well, okay, because you spent $10 on a phone that you thought was on a case that you thought was pretty,
or $2,
or $2, yeah. So it's like,
yeah, but the difference is that, like, with a phone, let's say an iPhone or whatever case may be, the amount of options that you have to purchase from top to bottom is much greater than if you search for USB-C on Amazon and you look at a list of,
are you talking lightning cables?
like 10, 15, 20. Like, I mean, come on.
Lightning cables?
Regular USB-C cables, just regular, just regular USB.
I mean,
Well, I'm comparing.
Like, there's
I
adapters,
compare
there's-
right now the USB Type-C
Yeah.
to a lightning cable when it first came out, because it's the same exact thing. It's
Okay.
a new technology.
Yeah.
It has more things so the lightning cable has special chips that you need,
Yeah.
and things like that. And if people skimp on those things and you get a cheap one, it potentially could fry whatever device you're using. So I see USB Type-C as the future, no doubt. The things it could do is crazy.
yeah, it's
Everything from
USB 3.1
to
yeah.
displaying,
Transfer
to,
data way faster than
Yeah.
any other kind of connection
it's
we have
the
right
future.
now.
So
Yeah.
my advice would be, if you're buying a USB-C device, it's probably right now the cheapest thing you could get is what, a OnePlus,
Yeah.
and that's what, $300-400.
Yeah.
And then you're complaining because you have to spend $15 on a cable.
Yeah, I'd rather spend more money and not have my $400 to $700 investment just go down.
It's just people.
Down the
I
drain.
don't understand this. You're buying these expensive things,
Would you go
and then
cheap on the
you
protection
do cheap
and things
on
like
the
that? Yeah,
things
that matter.
Yeah.
It's I mean, that's my philosophy. Like, whenever I buy things, I don't like. Okay, for example, I build computers, right?
Yes.
The only thing, or one of the things that I think are plagued by this whole Chinese manufacturer, cut corners type thing is the power supply.
Okay.
The thing responsible for powering the whole unit. So what happens is that you have these manufacturers that cut those corners, and then you have the capacitors just blow up on you and fry your whole computer.
Yeah.
That's even worse because some people spend $2-3 grand on their computer. So, I mean, granted, most people that spend $2 or $3 grand on a computer don't go cheap on the power supply anyway. But if you're building it yourself and you're a new builder, you don't know that.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, well, in order for me to get my $400 processor that I want, I'm going to reduce the amount of money I'm going to pay on the power supply because, it has the wattage that I need, but it's $150 cheaper.
Yeah.
So, and then you have problems like that. So, spend more money for a good quality product because you won't regret it as much as you think you will.
What do you suggest in terms of situations like this where you buy a fairly expensive product that comes with new technology, and it could potentially be lost because you purchase a cheap accessory. What do you recommend before someone goes through with a replacement, a purchase for a replacement cable, replacement power supply, replacement whatever?
It's pretty easy. It's research.
Yeah.
Read.
Research.
That's all you have to do. I would never recommend someone just blindly buying a $30 cable just because that's the manufacturer. No.
But where do we research? I mean, can we trust Amazon reviews?
Not all of
Can
them.
we trust?
Not all
you
of
know
them.
what
I mean, there's some people that actually do reviews that are like they put all their heart into a review.
Yeah.
They'll even go as far as making video reviews.
Yeah.
So there's things that you have to take into account with that.
There's also well-known generics also. So you talked about Amazon Basics.
Okay.
Another one that I like to use happens to be Anker.
Yeah.
The Anker.
Yeah.
They make batteries, chargers, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I trust them because I've used so many, and all their devices have pretty good reviews.
Okay.
People like Belkin They'll make cables. They'll make anything else. Different things like that. I would trust. So just read. Just know who you're buying from, and don't buy just something that is going to come in a box that doesn't even have English instructions on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or just comes in an unmarked box, barely wrapped in bubble wrap, with nothing. Like, I mean, there's some places that ship stuff like that. I mean, if it's a USB cable, you know what to do with it. Yeah. But if it's something like a piece for a computer or something that goes inside of a car or, something like that, and you're not necessarily savvy in that kind of an area, you're just like, what do I do with this?
And even if you do go like on Amazon and you see a brand name, just pop open Google or what's blank, blank, blank brand, and you should get a pretty good understanding of what they're about. Usually the quality of site will have a big thing to do with it. If you go there and it's some like cheaply made site with no contact info stay away.
Like, I mean, that's like this whole entire week I pretty much spent my whole entire week researching a camera for us to get better quality for the podcast and to do how-tos and stuff. And I was doing Google searches. It's the Panasonic Lumix G7, shoots 4K, all that sort of stuff. It's great. And you know how when you do a Google search, there's like a shopping section you can click on, and then it tells you the cheapest price either within your area or on the website or on the internet. So I go ahead and click it to show all the stores, and it says like one store has it for like $450, right? So I go there and I click it and check it out, and it's called Spiory, Spiory, and I'm like, I've never heard of this before. What is this, right? And I'm like, well, maybe it's because I just didn't know, because like there's some companies that they just sell photo equipment, like 42nd Street cameras, I think it's called. B&H Photo, which I know, Adorama, all that sort of stuff, and then Best Buy and all them. So, I was just thinking it was another site that I wasn't aware of. So I did some Google searching because it just seemed really odd. The way the website was constructed and all that sort of stuff, it just seemed really weird. So I looked it up, and apparently I can't find any information except for like this one Reddit post where people are doing like Better Business Bureau searches for the website and like Whois searches, and lo and behold, on the Whois.com website, it shows that it's registered under someone's personal address. The address that shows on Google Maps is an address to a strip mall that doesn't have the store there at all. So you just gotta be mindful of those things. You can't just go blindly buy something because it's cheaper.
Repeat the name of the website you visited to find that.
Spiory.com, Spiory.
I believe it was Whois.com.
Oh, yeah, Whois.com is the one where you can go ahead and check, different websites, where they're registered, what address is registered under them. Also, BBB.com, I think, which is BetterBusinessBureau.com. So you can also check out reviews there. Now, at Better Business Bureau, pretty much I can tell you if someone goes over there, it's probably because they had a bad experience. You don't go over there to go ahead and give a place praise. So,
but
unfortunately,
but also you look at how they handle complaints, and that says a lot about a company and their customer service.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
If they're telling 500 people to kick rocks, I'm probably not going to buy there because let's say I have a bad experience, I'm probably not going to have no hope of getting it fixed by that company.
Yep.
Did you see that Android Wear is getting voice calling?
Bro, I gotta say, you are on a roll with quality transitions today. Quality, I'll tell you what, bro.
and message dictation. So
so I mean, now I can walk around and just talk to my phone like I'm a
I mean, I thought you could already do that though. Like,
you can. I mean, you could write. I could dictate voicemails and things like that through mine, or just voice messages and send them to people. I know with this they have the new WhatsApp update that allows me to send a voice message using that application through my phone. I have yet to find a reason to look at my wrist, dictate a message, and then send it off.
Maybe while driving?
No. Actually using Android Wear while driving is probably more dangerous than looking at my phone. Because at that point, I'm going like this, and I'm actually looking at my wrist as opposed to the road. Whereas,
But can't you just say, okay, Google, send message, send to blank, and then write your message?
Yeah. But I also have Bluetooth in the car, and I could do the same thing with my Bluetooth.
Not everyone has your car, Joe.
Yeah, my car's a 2012 Honda Civic,
it's like,
I don't have Bluetooth anything in there.
I have
an aux cable,
I have
aux
Bluetooth,
port.
but it's very ridiculous in how you have to send a message. It's terrible.
Nissan's Bluetooth is very convoluted.
It takes probably like 45 seconds to a minute to try to send a message.
For real?
Yeah, because it makes you confirm everything like 4 times. It's horrible. So I'd benefit from something like that.
I mean,
I don't know. I just like I said, I don't. You dictate messages more than I ever will.
yeah, you do it with the most.
So
I don't do it that much,
I don't talk to
especially
my
with
phone.
my beautiful Note 4. That's so amazing.
The sarcasm in his voice, guys.
The Note 4, man, killing me.
There's a quick sidebar, by the way, since we're talking about 4th generation phones. LG, you took 42 days to give me my G4 back, and then you told me it was a software update. Come on. Then you go online and publicly say it was a hardware issue. Which one was it, LG?
I love that.
Was it a hardware issue or was it a software one? Either way, the phone works, and it took 42 days to get fixed. AT&T, give me my credit back. My money back for my month that I'm paying for this phone.
Are y'all excited about any of the new phones coming out this year? Or that are coming out later this year?
As much as LG has let me down with the G4, that G5 though. I
haven't seen pictures of
the
it.
ability to take off the bottom of the phone, slide in the battery, and then put it back together seems very, very intriguing with me. And the dual camera setup, which Sony says is going to be featured heavily in 2017, but in 2016 it looks like the new iPhone is rumored to have it, and the new LG G5 is rumored to have it. So they may come out with it first.
Hasn't LG been burned on trying to be the first in tech though?
LG was burned when they came out with an NVIDIA Tegra phone, which is just the Optimus G, and that was trash.
Okay, we got that. The LG G3, wouldn't it overheat because it was the first 2K phone?
Yes, but the LG G3 had a much better
but you have a
shelf life than the
you
Optimus G.
You have a phone that says, "Oh, it's too hot. You can't put your brightness up because I'm
yeah, I remember that.
I'm way
that
too
it would
hot."
give you like a message. Yeah,
they're one of the first 2K phones.
That still does that though, by the way. That's something that the G4 still does as well. Actually, when it's charging, it gets a little warm, it won't allow you to put the brightness up. And I use my phone with 100% brightness because I don't know who would use their phone with anything less than 100%.
What are you, blind? I leave it on auto.
See, here's the thing: is you get a phone with a 2K screen, beautiful AMOLED 2K screen, and you have it at like 30%.
No, like I don't leave it capped at 30. I leave it on auto. So if I go outside, I don't have to squint. And then when I'm in here at, in laying in the bedroom or something with the lights off, I don't have to go ahead and be like playing.
I could tell you.
Don't burn your
I'll tell you a
Yeah.
big reason, Pedro. Because at 3 o'clock at work, when you're not really on your phone all day and your phone's at 4% for some reason,
Bro.
a lot of people probably don't want to have that same issue. So you turn the brightness down a little bit. You get maybe a couple hours more of your battery life. That'd be the reason.
I
No,
don't.
but that's more of the LG software and the applications running in the background than anything. Because I haven't touched the phone.
So with your experiences, you're still excited for the next LG?
Man, I'm like a battered wife, bro. LG just keeps me coming back. I'm trying to leave, but I don't think I can. I don't think I can. Honestly, there's no. I mean, I'm not. Samsung is coming out with a phone that supposedly has 2-day battery life. Is that exciting? I mean, if I want 2-day battery life, I could go with a new Xperia. I could try to, I could go with a Nexus 6P.
You're not gonna get 2-day battery life, but
You'll never get 2-day battery life out of a smartphone.
I think 2-day battery life is unrealistic. Well, not that it's unrealistic, but it's unnecessary. I think because
what?
I mean, not that it's unnecessary, but like you come home and you gotta have at least one charger at home, and unless you like to go out for 2 days straight and never come back home for 2 days, like you're gonna come across a charger. So, I mean, unless you're going like mountain hiking or whatever, mountain climbing. So, 2-day battery life may be cool, but
all right.
I mean, I don't think battery tech should stop from where it's at now because it's lacking. But
terrible.
I mean, I don't know.
They're just putting in bigger batteries, though. They're not improving anything on tech. You're just putting something bigger in there.
Yeah, but they kind of are putting bigger batteries. Not first off, not everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
So Apple's not.
Oh yeah, they're definitely not.
They shrunk their battery.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're doing more on the software side.
Correct. But
so is Android, just for the record.
With those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's my thing. A lot of times, these people are going for award of thinnest phone.
Yeah.
Trying to go for pure looks, and they're skipping on functionality. When a lot of people, a lot of people with iPhones too, are dying for a charger midday. A 2-day battery life. I think maybe they make the phone a little thicker, but they fill that extra space with battery. I think is better than the innovations that we've been having for the last year or 2 years.
Like better resolutions and
we're going a little bit better resolutions. The 2K screens are cool. We went from a Snapdragon 805 to 808
and then 810
to
810 on the Nexuses. Yeah,
it's not mind blowing difference. It's not.
No, the 808 gets super hot.
Yeah, and the first 810 did too.
Yeah.
But we're not making strides anywhere else. So I think someone focusing on battery is great, and a big player like Samsung, maybe other people will follow also.
Hey, the Note 4 supposedly had a great battery, and then now it doesn't even last me a whole day like it used to.
I know a guy that tells me the Note 3 gives him
9 hours of screen on time.
9 hours screen on time.
I don't know if it's because maybe my phone is encrypted in a special way because of the company I work for, but
that means it should last longer, honestly, because your notifications aren't going to be the same as somebody else's.
No. Well, if he has some type of MDM software on there, getting on your phone, it kills your battery faster. I think that's probably whatever's wrong with your phone, because the Note 4 is actually not that bad in battery.
I mean, I don't know. I think the thing that has the best battery, the phone that's going to have the best battery right now is probably the Nexus 6P. I mean, granted, you do get bigger batteries in bigger phones, and those 6-inch phones that do 2K, have 2K screens and all that sort of stuff. So, but I mean, on another note, to sidetrack because my transitions are beautiful. We could talk about some gaming. There's some things I wanted to go over with you guys. I am getting Street Fighter V.
Okay.
Are you playing the beta?
No, I never got into it. I know. I think you could buy into it before, but I never did.
Sure.
So, but yeah. So whenever I get that, we could all play. Maybe I'll stream it. I gotta check it out. I got it for the PS4.
That's an exclusive.
PS4.
Well,
PC.
it's PS4 and PC, but
okay. But it's a console exclusive to PS4.
As far as collectors go, yeah. So
it's coming out on the Xbox One?
No. I mean, it's If you're saying exclusive as in PS4 or Xbox, yeah.
The regular game is on PC, but yeah, you're right. Console exclusive to PS4.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. I got the collector's edition.
Now Street Fighter's always been one of the biggest, I guess, fighting games since Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
Street Fighter 2.
Tournaments.
Turbo.
Yeah. That and Marvel vs. Capcom.
Why wouldn't Xbox fight harder for such a prominent name?
Especially since they had
a fighting game.
Yeah, Killer Instinct. But I mean, honestly, I played it. I never played that game.
So Phil Spencer's idea was they want to try to have one big game in every genre, and they feel like Killer Instinct is their big game in the fighting genre, so they didn't need to spend money on or allocate funds to secure a Street Fighter, game.
But didn't they have four for both?
Yeah.
Like the previous game, I think, was for both consoles.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's stupid though.
PlayStation or Sony has been doing a lot to garner exclusive content for their, the people that own their console.
Yeah.
And this is just one way to do so. Like I said, his goal is to have one big game in each genre. He felt that Killer Instinct was that game for them. He's got numbers to prove that it is, making them money. So he decided to allocate funds elsewhere towards, different games. He still has to find the JRPG, that's going to be the Xbox exclusive. He's gotten the tactical game, with Halo Wars. He's got his, his shooting game. He got his adventure game with Tomb Raider. So
those have been good, but
I mean, they have Tomb Raider.
Killer
but,
Instinct versus Street Fighter.
Bro, first of all, Killer Instinct, the way you were describing it just now, it doesn't even sound like you believe what they're saying, because it's like when Microsoft puts their false hope into Bing. Like, it's like, yeah, we have this great game, but it's really not that great. You're just like blind because it's your product. It's.
I think Soul Calibur would be bigger than Killer Instinct.
I think that was a bigger game. Yeah.
I think it's better too.
If they really wanted to compete fighting game for fighting game, it would have to be Tekken. I don't think it would.
I think Street Fighter's still bigger than Tekken.
It wouldn't be,
I think Street Fighter. I think it's Street Fighter, Tekken,
and again, you never know.
Everything else.
You never know what Microsoft is trying to do as well.
Oh yeah, Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
But when it comes to that, I'm telling you what he's saying, and that's his vision. Is he wants to have one big game for that. They've invested time and money into Killer Instinct. They had season 1 out. They're working on season 2. They're having new characters. It's a free platform that you start off with one character and you buy the ones that you want to play fight with,
or you can pay with money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's, in a sense, it's a moneymaker for them.
That's what Street Fighter's adding too. That marketplace that you get currency in the game, but you can skip that by paying. Yeah. So I mean, that's how a lot of games are now. That's like we can blame MOBAs for that. So because they're the ones that kind of garnered that kind of a system. So and now all of our games are plagued and doomed with that kind of a feature. So but I think Street Fighter, the way how I base it is, if your game is an esport, you're clearly on top, and Killer Instinct isn't an esport game. Street Fighter is. So is Smash Brothers. I honestly think Smash Brothers is even more popular than Killer Instinct. Mortal Kombat, even though it is very popular, it's not an esport. And pretty much any of the other fighter games like Soul Calibur and.
Does Microsoft need to have that though? Like, is it a necessity?
Like,
because
right
in their
now,
eyes, a fighting game isn't a necessity. Obviously, because if they're saying we've invested in Killer Instinct and we're happy with what we have, I mean, it's not a necessity.
Well, yeah, but I think that, like, as a developer, you're where you feel like you've made it is if your game becomes an esport. World of Warcraft made it, and it became an esport too on top of it. So it's not only a very successful game, but it's also an esport in the PvP front.
Will Street Fighter sell consoles? Will people buy a PS4 because Street Fighter's on there?
I think so. Yeah.
I think there's a big, like you said, a big following with the tournaments and everything else that would get the title that has, or would get the system that has that title on there. Versus, I don't think any other fighting game would ever be a system sell, other than Smash Brothers.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only two games I could see that people would be like, oh, I'm buying this because this is eventually going to come out for it. Especially people like us who's been playing Street Fighter since they're like 6 years old. So
yeah.
And then, saw super popularity, kind of got lost in its way with the freaking EX series, and then they came back again, and they came back with the 2D and 2D style, and got back up on their feet pretty much. So
I mean, it's with a game being an esport, there's just another level of popularity that gets created when your game becomes an esport. Because not only do you have people that want to be part of that world and be the competitors in those esports, but you also have people that just like to watch it. So not only back in the day, you would have Halo esport matches and Call of Duty esport matches and Counter-Strike and all that stuff, and people would go there to watch it. But now in today's day and age, you can go to YouTube Gaming, to Twitch, and watch the esport events there, including the stadiums that they sell all the tickets out of to watch those kind of things. Like League of Legends. League of Legends literally sells out like stadiums, like the Amway Center. Like they sell out stadiums, and then they have people like Deadmau5 just showing up to do, an exit show and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's very, if your game made it to that level, then you're good.
Yeah.
I mean, the with esports though, you also have advertising that's kind of like sketchy though too, because it's like, how they sell this top player gamepad, like Mr. Green's gamepad or whatever, and the thing's like $200 just because it has your name on it.
So I'm assuming you're talking about like the first ones that came out, which was Fatality, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, him, yeah. So that he was like an FPS guy. I think it was for Unreal Tournament.
Yeah.
And he started getting sound cards, graphics cards, all this crazy stuff, and you just pay more because it has his name on it. So I
mean, I guess that's with any brand.
Yeah, I mean they have that with, like, right now. I want to get like seriously into Street Fighter. I was trying to look for a cheapo gamepad, to play it on, and like they're like $200.
Cheapo gamepad. We just told people not to go cheap on.
Well, I mean, not cheapo as in like I just got that thing from China and it snaps off the second I move the joystick.
Don't
but
get one.
I mean, I was willing to spend $50 to $100, but like minimum to get the one that I wanted, which is the one that sits on your lap that has the 8 little buttons in the joystick. Yeah. It's minimum $200. So,
I mean,
like the arcade style ones, because that's like really besides the controller, that's really the only other one you would want to get.
I think one of the things we've learned today is we have to pay for quality.
Yeah, exactly. if you learned anything today, is that quality cost quite a bit. I think that'll be it for this week's guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Sunday's the Super Bowl. I'm super nervous about it.
Go Cats and Horses.
Yeah, go Cats and go Horses. This has been episode 4 of the Bad News Tech Podcast. Catch us each and every day on badnewstech.com, facebook.com/badnewstech, and twitter.com/realbadnewstech.
Yep.
All right. Later, guys.
There's no news like bad news.